When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind worked backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt.
G'day Roosters, welcome to the first live stream of 2024, February. Been away for a little bit, so I hope you can hear me well. Anyway, it's been a couple of months, so looking forward to chatting with Steve and Q and anyone else who wants to rock up. Use the chat feature. Any questions you got on riding in New Zealand or whatever, or bikes in general, welcome, yeah. So I was travelling, actually. I was in the States, in Mexico, in most of January, and it was quite a good time, actually. I spent some time in the north of Mexico, and then I also went down to Mexico City. And I went to a Ducati dealership there just to see what it's all about, what sort of scene is over there in Mexico. And so I went to Mexico City. It was quite good. That's just having a taco. And that's me talking to a few of the local girls. Very nice they were too. So, yeah. Anyway, and so I got to the Ducati. There's about 3 or 4 Ducati dealerships there in Mexico City. This one was in a place called Santa Fe. So a big shout out to Rameses there. He was the local sales guy in the Ducati shop. So it's, if you look there, it's actually on the second floor of a big mall, all new bikes, and he was telling me that most people that buy them are big money people. They've got Ferraris and stuff. They figure they need an Italian bike as well. So he said most of them aren't really hardcore Ducati riders, but anyway, it's a nice bikes there. He said most of them, especially limited edition ones, they go. Guy's got the Bentley Ducati or the Lamborghini one or whatever. He gets one to match his car, so he's got a matching garage. So anyway, what else was happening there in Mexico? I did stop and talk to a guy on the side of the road, actually, in Mexico City, and this guy Cesar, and we got talking, and there's quite a big scene over there. Sport bikes and stuff. Of course, everybody's got the Instagram channels and always putting stuff on that. But talking to Cesar, and I saw a lot of retro style bikes, the modern retro Triumphs and stuff, and a lot of customized sport bikes as well. So that was pretty cool. Quite interesting to see. And I didn't really get the chance to ride down there. Roads are chaos, but I could see that once you got out of town a bit, it was not so bad. A lot of delivery bikes, those little Italicas and those little Ventos and stuff, those little, whatever they are, 135s or whatever. Heaps of them all over town, but not really consider them, proper motorbike, hardcore bikers. This guy here, SSE, he was a cool guy. He just took some random photos next to this big statue in the middle of a roundabout, so I got talking to him, and he was cool. It was good. So yeah, I didn't get actually ride over there, although I would have liked to, but long story. I had a good friend over there who passed away, and I used to go riding with him, so but anyway, that's another story. Let me see, I'll try and get over there, and there we go. So other news, MotoGP, Argentinian GP's been cancelled. Not replaced at all. So just one less round of MotoGP this year. That's because of their terrible economic situation that they have there. So he's hoping that the new president can turn things around. Pretty big ask, but he's a real mover and shaker guy. They've had socialist governments for so long that the place has just gone to the pack. So some serious work to do there to maybe turn that around. Hopefully we'll see MotoGP back there next year. But there was testing at Sepang there in Malaysia last week. rookie rider Pedro Acosta. His first new season in MotoGP. Now, he's been a Moto3 and Moto2 and 3 champion before. And he was actually 9th fast in testing straight off the bat. So keep an eye on old Pedro Acosta. Big things might be happening with him. He's riding for the Gas team. So there he is there. Pretty cool guy. Repsol Honda, they've changed the livery too. So Repsol's been sponsoring Honda for a long time. Anyway, they've changed the livery a bit. Not a big change, but still, it is a little bit different. And I see that the satellite Honda team have changed their livery to basically the Castrol colours. The red, the white and the green. So a bit like in Superbikes, a bit like Aaron Slight's old bike. So, a few changes there. And of course, the first race is going to be in Qatar, early March, first weekend of March, 8th to the 9th. So that'll really set the tone. Excuse me. That's going to really set the tone for the whole season. So we'll be interested to see what happens there. But a lot of things. We've got Marquez on a Ducati now after all those years on Honda. So a lot of people expecting big things from him. A few people back from injury as well. Jorge Martin, he's going to be very hungry to get some points on the board early on to help his chances of not finally, but he just got pipped at the post this last season. So hopefully, he'll be going for the championship this year as well. So there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 guys that could do it. So it's going to be a really good MotoGP season. So the Dakar, of course, the Dakar is always held at the very beginning of the year. The last few years it's been in Saudi Arabia, and of course this year in Saudi Arabia as well. The bike winner was an American guy, Ricky Brabeck. Not very often you see the Americans racing stuff outside of the States or Mexico, but good on him for getting over there and making a big splash. I see the Australian guy. I can't remember his name. I think he got 5th. So his name I've just lost his name. But anyway, he got 5th. But the first time since 2001, a woman has won a class at Dakar. She won the Challenger class. That's a woman called Cristina Gutierrez, and she is I think she's from Spain. Anyway, Cristina Gutierrez, she won the Challenger class. That's a class basically where it's space frame and anything you want pretty much goes. Carlos Sainz won overall on the first time it's ever been won by a hybrid, so it's kind of interesting. Anyway, it's been interesting rally for Dakar this year. So a lot of firsts, with Christina. That's the only second time a woman's ever won, and the other one was a woman called Jatt Kleinschmidt in 2001. So only twice now have women ever won anything a class here. So that's great. What else been happening? Oh yeah, the Burt Munroe. I see I got a bit burnt. I've only been back since Monday. Burt Munroe, well, what can I say? Awesome time as usual. The roads were awesome. No one on them. The people were great. The beach racing, fantastic as always. I would say there's probably more people at the beach racing than last year. And it was very, very good racing. Very great to see. There was actually a guy on a 12-hour, an old a dual sport 1200 BMW GS, and he he raced in the open class, and I think he actually got second in one race. Wasn't very good on the turns at the end, but he was really picked it up on the straights, I guess. 1200 now, all the rest of the guys are riding on 450 single, so yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, that was cool to see. That was fun. The There was no street race, of course, this year. They've stopped the street race, but they did do a superbike round at Tiratonga. So there was 3 days you could watch racing at Tiratonga. And I got to say, watching the modern Ducatis, Invercargill, all the stuff with all the complete track, all the rider aids, traction control, the lean stuff and all that, was incredible. And most of the racing, including F2 with the 600s, of course, you'd throw a blanket over the top 8-10 bikes. It was really that good. And Formula One was the same. And there was a great tussle between Jesse Stroud, that's Andrew Stroud's one of his young fellas. He was riding Invercargill, and the guy from Nelson on the blue Ducati. Name escapes at the moment. Anyway, those two tussling for first place. They took it right down the wire, and it was a wet track too, so pretty nail-biting stuff to see. And everybody was up on the edges of the seats and the edge of the track. Just it was very, very good racing. So I really enjoyed that. That was the beach racing, of course. And so we had a great ride back. Anyway, what's old? G'day Q, good to see you here. Don't know what happened to Steve. Steve said he was turning up, so he might be. He's just probably thinking of something to say. It was the beach racing. I think it's the best crowds. People come out from, they don't even riding bike. You can park. Basically the whole beach is a car park at one side, and then the other side is all the racing. And the dunes were full, absolutely chock-a-block full of people. And it's just fantastic to see. I mean, those guys are hauling, and all sorts of classes. There was old British staff. It was fantastic. They had quads there. Some crazy psycho guy. He had a CBR 1000 engine in this completely homemade modified frame on this four-wheeler. It had wings on it and everything, and it just blitzed everybody. But that thing was flying. Yeah, well, everybody's flying, but that was really humming along. So yeah, it was good to see Q. And the year you want to go down there, let me know. We've rebooked our accommodation the same. We don't stay at the rally anymore, probably a bit old, long in the tooth for lying in the muddy ground. But we've got some good accommodation right in town, and good modern, sort of apartment units, flats. And so we rebooked them again for last year. There's a couple of spots still available on that. So as long as you're a good rooster, Q, I'm sure, I know you are a good rooster. But anyone else who's thinking about it, just drop me a line and that, and we could have a bed for your spare. So, yeah. So, I know Q, big shout out to Q, Little Ghost. I see your cool video you just put up the other day too, and I know you've been busy over the summer. Must have all the turkeys away or something. So, plenty of riding. You picked the right day. It's been spectacular, Q, but I know there's been some real patchy weather as well, so one scorching hot day and the next day it'll be freezing and blowing and raining again. But which it did down in Invercargill. It was off and on, probably half and half, good days and then patchy weather. I did get burnt either way, but some of the roads just is spectacular. We turned off Ettrick and went down went over the Mile Flat Road, popped out just before Gore, some sealed back roads. I did a video on that, just released that yesterday or the day before, and we did it both ways this time. Just fantastic road. And then another day we we went up to Lake one of the lakes, can't remember, Manapuri. We went to Manapuri and we went up sort of a straight way and went over Black Mount Hill or Saddle. Fantastic. Nothing on the roads, and the roads are just brilliant. Then we sort of did that. We came back over the hill again and sort of looped around to Atapri and came back to through Riverton and all that. It was a bit patchy by the time we got to Riverton. But the morning and that, all through the good stuff, was just unreal. And the roads, yeah, great condition, the roads down there. Mustn't be too many milk tankers, I guess. So, yeah, that was really great. Let me just have a quick beer. Open another beer. So, yeah, I did the Catlins as well, of course. That's kind of like a few more camper vans on the Catlins. You've got to be careful. Cheers. Cheers, Q. Hope you've got something. I'm sure you've got a glass in your hand. Yeah, I don't know if you've been busy with the turkeys, though. Week off in March. Yeah, well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Maybe the weather's a bit cooler then. Cools off a bit. Oh, yeah, and Q, so you did that mower flat road. Well, that's true. What I said in the video was that, like, last year, one of the guys, I don't know why, he put directions to Invercargill from Timaru in his Google Maps there on his phone, and that's where it took him. He turned off in the middle of Ettrick, and I was like, "Where you going, mate? We've still got to go get down the way yet." And I thought, "Oh, he must know what he's doing." And we followed him, and it was just stunning right from the start, as well you know, Q. And got the other end, and I said, "Well, how do you know about that road?" He goes, "I didn't." He says, "Google told me to go that way." I just followed Google. So there you go. I'll take back all the bad things I said about Google. So yeah, so we did the Burt, and then a few guys left early. We started off with a few people drop out because of family issues, but we had 6 bikes in the end. There should have been 10, but like I say, a few people had to drop off. But anyway, a few people shot home early for work. But the bulk of us left on so we got the 4 days racing on the Sunday, and then we came home on the Monday morning. On Sunday, the Saturday weather was no good, so they postponed the speedway till Sunday, and it was still a bit patchy. But anyway, they finally got the speedway off and running, and that was always good to see. And it was unfortunate. There was one crash where a young fella, I think the bike landed on him or something, and he was leading the race and got out into the loose stuff, and unfortunately the bike landed on him, so he got carted away, but hopefully he's well and okay. Yeah, but I guess that stuff happens. So anyway, so on the way home, I think we split up into a couple of groups, and we ended up going back, like I say, back over the Moa Flat Road straight up to Alex and back on the big route again, and fairly quick trip from Alex, or actually fairly quick trip in general. One of the guys has got the little black box on the front of his bike, and that, you know, so he was always going to let us know if Mr. Plod was about, but we didn't actually, I think we only saw 2 the whole way back up, and that was 500 k's, and they were going the other way. Just so, anyway, we didn't see much anyway. But anyway, it's a fairly quick trip home. We swung by St. Bathans because I'd never had a beer at the Vulcan, and of course that's a famous classic famous pub. So there we go, the old Vulcan Hotel. But every time I've been there, it was been in the winter for some reason, it was always closed for renovation. So I finally got my Vulcan Hotel frickin' beer. It was good too. A beautiful day. Wasn't too hot. None of the days were that hot that we were sweating hard in the riding gear. But it's just about perfect. And again, pretty quick trip into there. Then we swung by Naseby and stopped in to see Eric Swinburne. So Eric Swinburne, for those that don't know, he had Auckland Motorcycles back in the 80s, and that was up on Ponsonby Road, and he had Ducatis and all the British stuff. He was the only one basically doing Ducatis and British stuff. And he's a mechanic by trade, and he was the Ducati bevel drive guru in New Zealand, and of course later on the Panthers. And so I stopped in to see him. I hadn't seen him for a while, He's given up racing now. I think his city is 73. He's still got a 1098S sitting in the garage, which was his last race bike, but he stopped racing that about a year ago. So it was good to see him and look around his workshop. I suspect he's forgotten more than most of us will ever know about Bevels and Panthers. He's an awesome, knowledgeable guy. And, of course, the British stuff too. He had some nice British stuff there, running ethanol and stuff. So yeah. Oh yeah, little ghost. Yeah, I'm sure you've been to the Vulcan. What's your poison there? I just had a beer. Actually, I had a Spates. I've sort of haven't drunk Spates much for a long, long time, and I thought, well, it's kind of appropriate, right? Central Otago, have a Spates, especially at a pub like that. We didn't have that much time, so we didn't walk around the lake. I've done it before, the lake part, and I think there's a photo somewhere, but anyway. So yeah. But that's basically what's been happening. What's coming up next? Coming up next is Sound of Thunder next weekend. Are you going to go to that queue for a look? Reminisce over the old track days? Not sure what you're saying there, Key. Yeah, he's still got the work. He's in the old. He's in the old gas station. As soon as you just get into town, you go past the park and there's a cafe on your right, and the old gas station's on your left, the old workshop, and he's in there. Rock up there, especially if he has an Italian bike, and he will surely, I am sure, if he's there, come out. We didn't have to say anything. He just said, "Oh yeah, I'll open her up and give you the tour." So that was great. So you definitely didn't feel like I actually was a bit worried that I was imposing, but he certainly had no problem. I think quite enjoys the company, really. So yeah, he's still at the. Okay, yeah. Well, what did he's got all the stuff there, eh? So. Probably not Spates because like you all have a drink and local finance, yeah. Okay, so I'll think of you at the Sound of Thunder. Q. I know that there's some Australian contingent coming over. I think they're mostly on Harleys though. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But what else? Not much else has happened actually. I don't know. Got the Burt Sound of Thunder coming up. Don't know what heard from Steve. Yeah, well the Sound of Thunder is over the 2 days. Actually Friday practice, I think racing is Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going up Sunday, I think, depending on the weather. But likely to go up on the Sunday. If it's good, I'm not sure yet. I'll either take the truck and have a pop up with the barbecue going, or else I'll go up on the bike. There's a couple of guys from here want to go up, want to ride up, and one of my mates has just got himself a MV Augusta, one of those Brutales or Brutales. So I know he's itching to take it for a decent ride. Yeah, I'm not sure what else has been really going on. Like I say, I was away for all of January, so Still got the delay in the chat queue. I don't know why. I've had to play with it, but I don't know why it's... Yeah, I can't beat it. And anyway. Yeah, I suppose they won't need the tyre warmers, will they, if it's going to be as hot as it has been. But, you know, I tell you what, I've been riding those roads. I've got a Road 5 on the front, which is just about needs replacing, and a Road 6 on the back. And everybody talks about being good rain tyre. Well, they were really good down south, and it was sort of a bit of everything down south, but really, really good. But like coming back up for the pig route the other day, I mean, we pushed it reasonably hard, and just, yeah, rock solid. I think one time, first heading out of Ranfurly back towards Palmerston, the first corner in the bunch of windies there was a fresh patch on there, and they hadn't swept the gravel off. So halfway through, and I felt the front wheel sort of go drunk, but just no problem for those tyres, and they seem to ball up and shred away like a more race tyre. But man, they're still solid tyres when they're pushed hard. But yeah, they're probably pretty good lasting too, I think. Oh, that's good beer. Well, it's only a dirty old Corona, but did you know Corona's in New Zealand, Australia, made in China now? I'm sure you can't read it, but it says right there, made in China. Probably out of focus. Anyway, apparently Corona was the only beer left in the world, drunk all over the world, that was still produced in the country of origin up until just before Christmas. And it's only Australia, New Zealand, Australasia that's getting Chinese Corona. Well, we all got Chinese Corona there a couple of years ago, didn't we? Oh, yeah. Oh, super late. Steve. Well, it's all right, mate. We've already talked about you. Thought of you actually were down the Burt, and I thought, oh man, Steve would love this. Out at the beach racing. You'll have to go back through the stream later on and see some of the photos. I put a few of the photos up. But yeah, no, I did think of you. I think I mentioned to somebody, I said, oh, I've got this joker Steve over there. He'd love this. You'll have to make it soon one day there, Steve, but it could be out your way. Could be up your way for a conference in November. We'll just see. So I'll make sure I've got a day or two up my sleeve to come and have a beer with you or something. So yeah, mate, the Burt was epic. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, you would have really enjoyed it. Still got next year's one. They're not going to can it, that's for sure, because there was probably as many or more bikes around than last year. So definitely a massive injection for the Southland economy. And what's been happening in your world, Steve? You been out riding much? You taking out that beautiful Panther over the Christmas and summer break? Sorry, there's a bit of delay in the chat, so while I'm waiting for you to answer, because I'm sure you'll be bashing away at something. What's been happening? Update with Ducati? Well, not much because I've been away, but those carbs on it definitely need some attention. So I'll be sorting them out at some stage. Sooner rather than later, but I've just now got the Burt out of the way. I got Sound of Fun next weekend. got quite a bit of stuff for work to do. So, but anyway, it's there and it'll be happening. Bit like your TD2, Steve. Peroni, I had one once and it was tasted pretty watery to me, but I was probably on a IPA trip at that stage. But quite popular Peroni. It's probably like, I don't know, I just thought my impression was like Italian version of Corona. What do you think, Q? You drink that stuff? Steve, you probably do, mate. Gets so hot over there, you'd be drinking beer all the time. Let me whip back and find a couple of photos of the Burt for Steve, because he's already missed out. Oh, yeah. That was a few of the bikes at the beach racing, so you just drive, it's like 10 minutes out of town, you just drive on this road out of town, you just keep going to the end, and you've got gun club in the sandy dunes and the rodeo club on one side, and you just keep driving, and then you rush out on the beach. You take your car out on the beach and all that sort of stuff, but anyway, there was, if you look in this photo, you see the cops there standing in the middle. They were checking a couple of number plates. I think there was a couple of stolen bikes floating around. Some poor bugger on the way down stopped for coffee, came out, and his bike was gone. Yeah, that was bad. Well, we'll try and hold on, try and keep your license this time. That's right, I forgot about that. Will you be busting to get back on the bike? Get one of them little black boxes and put it on the front. I've been convinced of that after seeing one in action in our group down at the Burt. So I'm looking at them now, but they're not cheap for a decent one. The Leggera. Well, I'm not sure about Leggera. I think the guy with the blue Ducati that was winning Superbikes was Seth Devereaux or can't remember the other guy, but they were only Panigale S's. Alright, how's the Grizzle going? Q? You're not looking to move it on for a Mandela or wait until the new adventure bike comes out with that motor in that Guzzy's developed? I can tell from your videos, Q, yeah. Any port in a storm, if it's wet and it's got the right percentage on it, you're into it. A bit like me, really, actually. Got some good homemade tequila I brought back from Mexico when I was over there. So you've been back on the bike, Steve? Have you got your license back before Christmas? You just a bit cautious on it or what? Some more stuff at the Burt. The old Peronis. Yeah. The old my 1100 and that Sport. I've got a new leak appeared in that since it's been sitting around, and that's one of the seals in the sort of crown gear at the back hub of the drive. It's sort of leaking away, so I'm sure I'll have to pull that apart and do that one at some stage. But I've got some good mates who are real guzzy gurus. So, yeah, they've got most of the earlier ones, but one's got the same bike as me, and then I think between them they've got two Mark 1 Le Manses, a Monza, and two of the little ones, two Imolas. I know they own one Imola now. I think they sold the other one. So 200,000 on the Grizzo. Ooh! I see that guy Spite, the American guy that does a lot of the bike reviews. I see he liked the Grizzo so much he went out and bought one. So that's saying a lot because he probably rides a lot of bikes throughout the year. Yeah, I suppose the good thing about Guzzies is that, well, especially the older ones, are pretty easy to work on, aren't they? But see the old Grizzo, pretty unmistakable with that big frickin' square box on the side. Nobody ever says, oh, what bike's that? They go, oh, that's a Grizzo. So Steve, what are you up to? Bike-wise, what are you going to be doing? Any rallies or anything interesting coming up? Any good rides? I imagine, Q, if you'd done almost 200,000, there'd be a bunch of seals blooming needing replacing, wouldn't it? You'd be at every other ride, you'd be like, oh yeah, well that's worn out. I thought my leak might have been coming from the crankshaft seal on the outer plate. That's annoying. I'm pretty fussy about oil and leaks and stuff too. It's like any little thing is not. Any little leak's too much for me. So I get, looks like you're the same. It'll annoy you until you find it. That's for sure. Anyone else there needs to just pop something in the chat and say g'day. Just the three of us, as usual. But there's been a few people pop in. Oh, yep. Yeah, well, you'd be taking the GSX out and about, wouldn't you? How many tickets do you need to lose your license over there? Here it's about 3 or 4, depending on how many points. You've got 100 to play with. And I think normally, I don't know, you can lose it in one go if you want, but I'm pretty sure, like, you know, normal ticket speeds, like 120 or something, I think you've got three up your sleeve. So yeah, if you're watching and not saying anything, don't be shy. Put something in the chat and introduce yourself. We're all good roosters around here. I've got through all the news and bits and pieces I want to talk about, so just a bit of bike chat now or whatever. You only get 12 points. We get 100, but then you can lose 20, or you might lose 40. But I think 20 demerits is kind of like the main sort of currency that they use for tickets. So you got a few up your sleeve. And before you lose 100, I think, or before you earn your 100, you get a letter telling you you're getting close, because I got a letter once, so. But I've been pretty good since then. Oh, you got suspended straight away. Well, that was a bit more serious, was it? I know a few years back I went to Sydney in New South Wales. That place, I don't know. Talk about Big Brother. Come on, you go underneath those cameras, you can see the next gantry down the way with more cameras on. Over 25 k's and automatic suspension. Really? That sounds like. Well, that would be no good. Yeah, I think it's 40 k's over. And if you do 140 or more, they pull your license right there on the spot you're walking. So, yeah, 139, magic number. 25. That's pretty harsh, because that's about our 20 demerit points is out of 100. It's about 20, like 120, 20 k's over. I think it's about 20 demerits. Whoa. Yeah, they are ruthless. Wow, it's like, like when I went to New South Wales, and it was like, yeah, United Socialist State of New South Wales. It was like crazy. Big Brother everywhere. It's probably full of Karens as well, I imagine. Everybody getting offended with everything. No American riders in superbikes though. They've got the American team. Oh, they've just got an American team coming to MotoGP. And they're riding factory Aprilias, and they race cars and some other stuff, but I don't think they have an American rider yet. And they're called something like Roadhouse, or I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, so good to see a new team, and especially an American team. I'd like to see some more American riders in there again. So it's going to be epic MotoGP season this year, that's for sure. It's going to be freaking awesome. Yeah, we'll see the electric scooters. I think here, I was talking to somebody the other day, legislation just hasn't kept up with technology, because when you lost your license, say for drinking or whatever you lost your license for, you couldn't use anything. Like you couldn't use a mini bike or a four-wheeler or anything like that. Anything that had a motor on it, you couldn't use. And I presume anything that was motorised, you could not use. And so I see here people, and you know what those scooters, like some of those scooters are caning along at 70, 80 k's, and most of the time people are riding them on the footpath. No rules, no law for them or anything. So, you know, if you lose your license, at least you got the scooter going. Yeah, that's true. CF Moto and Moto 2 and 3. It's going to be freaking interesting, really. My only issue I ever have with CF Moto, not that I really had an issue, one of your mates there, Steve. He had one. I think he's sold it now, but he bought one along to one of our rides. CF Moto, the adventure bike. He loved it. But my issue with them is, and we don't know yet because they haven't been around long enough, is to, the quality of the, the metal, the metallurgy, whatever they call it, case hardened parts, bearings and stuff, what sort of quality they are, pistons and rings and stuff, how valve guides and things, what are they actually made of, and, can be with everywhere else. That's when we'll see. Yeah, Gilly. That's when we'll see, how good these Chinese ones are. I think technology-wise, they're probably pretty much up with everybody else. I mean, Benelli's made there, half of Harleys are made there now, Ducatis are made in Thailand. So Asia's, an Asian's been making motorbikes for years. We just haven't seen many of them out in our side of the world. All these little bikes and stuff like that. So, I think didn't CF Moto just come out with a sport bike? I think I saw something about it the other day. So that'll be interesting. CF Moto sports bike, bit like that the Korean one that was out there, the Huson or whatever it was called. I know parts are a bit of an issue now, but it was good to see some other country making bikes that were going international, global. So yeah, I don't know. Pretty quiet after all the hustle and bustle of the Burt. What an epic week that was. Really, really, really good. And the weather wasn't too bad at all. Wasn't as hot as the year before, but still was pretty good. So the 675 and 800. Oh, triples. Who are they cropping? Are they cropping the Triumph? Are they building like under license, Triumph designs or something? Speed triples. Would be cool to know. Anybody else here? Put your name down in the chat. Just say g'day in the chat. Just reach over and type something. Enter message here and send it. Just so we know who you are. Yeah, talked about Mexico. I could expand on that actually. So I went to a Ducati dealership there, and it was pretty much like a Ducati studio, really. Let me find a picture. Oh, that was cool guy Cesar. That's he's got a Instagram channel with just some random guy, and I stopped and talked to him, and cool guy. So this is inside the Ducati. There's about 3 or 4 Ducati shops inside Mexico City, all of course in the higher end part of town. And okay, their own design engines, that's cool. But there was no workshop attached, and all you could buy there was brand new bikes or brand new what do you call these things there, the merchandise and stuff, clothing and stuff like that. But there was really, I don't even think there was even helmets there. Certainly no workshop. And my mate there was telling me about how, I don't know, he's not too happy because he was saying that, I don't want to say too much, but guys would ring up wanting a service and that, and they just fob them off. And because I said to him, I says, oh, well, is there a Ducati workshop? Is a Ducati guru here? And he's like, I said, well, what happens, when they need a service? There's all these brand new bikes. And he said, well, the most of them, to be honest, he says, the most of them don't get ridden. He said, they're guys with too much money, and they got Ferraris and all that, and they want a bike to match, so they go to them and buy these bikes. And can't remember which one it was. Might have been the green one. What was that green Street Fighter that came out? Was it a Bentley one or a? Some guy paid over 100k for that, and he said you just put it in his lounge. But that's the way the same in the States is the same. There's guys just buying those bikes, they're such limited edition. They're spending 100, but it's worth 120 the next year. So once you're into that sort of money, you can do that. So yeah, the young fella there. He's got a monster himself, young Ramesis. He's got a monster, but yeah, he doesn't seem to. I don't know. I'm not even sure whether there's a Ducati owners club there. There probably is, but certainly a lot of bikes there, delivery bikes and stuff, and like young Cesar there in the other picture. Sport bikes. There was some serious custom pimped out, matching hand painted matching helmets, and bikes and stuff that I saw. A lot of retro British stuff, cafe races and things. So there's definitely a big bike scene over there. I unfortunately didn't get to catch up with anybody really, apart from this guy was the only one I'm talking to on a bike. So, but it was a cool place. But yeah, I asked them about classic Ducatis and stuff, and they just went, nah. Be zero to none people interested in those over there. What were you doing in Kazakhstan? Were you working in Kazakhstan? One of those, I can't remember which one it was, I always get them wrong. One of them is super, super wealthy. And the other one, everybody basically left it, and they work in Moscow now. Or labourers in Moscow. Can't remember. Yeah, the Borat Ducati. Probably got hair under the handlebars or something. You know, I got a mate with a 1098S and immaculate bike. I think it only done less than 20,000 k's when he got it. And he had it parked in town the other day, and he's seen this woman backing up, and well, he assumes her gender, but she didn't identify as a man. But anyway, she backed up and knocked his bike over. So he had got a quote for new fairings, $14,000. Yeah. That was for genuine ones, I guess. So I'm not sure what's happening. The insurance is dealing with it, but imagine that. Crazy, eh? Your partner's from Kazakhstan. Oh. She's not related to Borat, I presume. I must admit, I like my exotic woman. Got one myself. Not from Kazakhstan though, but anyway, not a Kiwi. That's not a Kiwi. Let's put it that anyway. You still there, Q? How's the turkeys going? And now Steve too, you missed out. So I was telling him about, there's a guy called Eric Swinburne, and if you're into Ducatis in New Zealand, if you're a true Ducati guy, a proper one, you would know about this guy called Eric Swinburne. So Eric had, back in the 80s I met Eric, and he had basically the only Ducati shop in Auckland. He has Ducatis and British bikes. And he was a bevel guru. And then, of course, we got onto the Panthers, and it was the Panther guru as well. Anyway, he's still kicking around. He's 73 now and gave up racing last year. He's got a 1098S that he's finished his racing career on, and thought that was enough for now. So... No, stay away from Turkey. Does somebody have to check him every day, Q, or are they? You got all the feeders on timers and that. I suppose set an alarm or something, send you a message if something goes wrong with the water or something. Need to get a stag shed. Is that what a male turkey is? Are they not called a stag? Are they not called a tom? Americans call the old males a tom, don't they? A jake is like a mature male, and then a mature one's called a tom. But you know. Okay. Yeah, I imagine it'd be all alarm stuff. What about eggs? Turkeys, I mean, sure they lay eggs, but Are they a thing that people want? Are they a bit strong or a bit big or something for the market doesn't like them? Or I suppose you're either doing meat or you're doing egg production, I imagine. Okay, yeah. I don't know they're called stags, that's for sure, and new toms. The wild ones we have in New Zealand are Miriam turkeys, originally from probably Mexico, but anyway, I'm sure ours came from the States. They're Miriams. The amount of American hunters that I used to have were clients when I used to be a hunting guide that wanted to, they're almost more excited about shooting a turkey than they were about knocking over a stag. But I suppose each their own, isn't it? Who's interested in coming on next month's live stream as a guest or something? I guess we've got a choice of two, Steve or Q, if you want to, somebody'd like to. Yeah, Steve, you did miss the beginning where I talk about all the news, but that's all right. Now we're down to the old chit-chat and all that stuff. So, but anyway, I've worked out how I can have a guest on. All you need at your end is a webcam, basically, or a phone with internet connection, and we can set you up. So, if anyone wants to come on and give us your story, freaking multi-strata, mate. Okay, so you're producing your own eggs to raise your own stuff, so it's all a one-stop shop. That's pretty cool. Multi-strata, yeah, well, I mean, 2024, just a 2-valve injected, I suppose, so that's one thing. I put a smaller sprocket on the front just to get it, just keep it peeking through the corners, but don't really need it, I think. One of the other guys was on a Mandello, and another guy on a 1200, the Triumph 1200 Scrambler, and then what else was there? Can't remember. Anyway, yeah, no, I kept up fine. I mean, on some of those big straights, the boys are winding it out, and I probably don't want to say too much on the old front of the camera, but yeah, I mean, I kept up and all that, but I still had a little bit left, but I just didn't want to push the old girl too hard. But no, I mean, through the winders and stuff, it's good. Yeah, like I say, that Moa Flat Road, I rode it like a sport bike through there and was right on top of, I mean, braking hard deep into the corners and changing my line if things were getting tired in bits and pieces, and I rode it like a sport bike. That's just brilliant to ride. I can see why guys get the modern ones. You get all that power, get the same power as everything else, but especially if you're older, but you're nice and comfortable ride. It's a comfortable ride. I got a sore ass, but that's just because it's the hardest, firmest seat, but never got a sore back, never got sore wrists, not a problem at all. So, I would like now, I mean, I got it 3 or 4 years ago, whatever, and it's done its job, you're right, it's just getting me back comfortable riding and stuff and that. I would like a bit more power now, to be fair. It doesn't have the torque like the Guzzi, but it's a completely different ride. But the Guzzi is pretty brutal riding position. But you get the Guzzi in the sweet spot, 5 to 7 or 8 grand, and that thing is pulling like a schoolboy. Whereas the multi-strata is a bit more, not sedate, but doesn't have this bigger peak there in the mid-range. But yeah, I mean, you can work the gears pretty hard and keep her on the boil. Yeah, it's a fun bike to ride for sure. Yeah, the V4s. Everyone's going for the V4s, or well, you know, you got the you got the Hyper Motard now, the single. Was it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? That's out now. I saw a photo one the other day. I'm not sure where it was. Looked like it could have been New Zealand or Australia. It was out on the street. Well, that's pretty quick. And of course, they got the motocross bike as well. So I think I read somewhere Ducati last year, or might have been the year before, produced more bikes than they ever had in their history. I think they made over 50,000 bikes. So I think pretty safe to say that Ducati's going to be around for a long while yet. And Guzzi too, owned by Piaggio. And thankfully, they've got this. They got the sense to leave Guzzi alone and let them do their thing. So the Guzzis, you know, they won't end up looking like Polaris did or Bombardier did. We're right for all the brands and range. Everything is kind of the same. So they've worked out. Don't mess with Guzzi. Guzzi's Guzzi. Yeah, imagine what that bike is. That dirt bike. What's the Hyperstrata? 23 or 24,000 Kiwi, I think. I'd hate to know what that dirt bike's worth. The motocross one. Well, I don't know what else to say. Steve, you know, catch up with you on your side of the ditch maybe later on. Yeah, I mean, Guzzi is Guzzi, you know, and I'd like, to be honest, I'd like to come out with a true sports bike like they did with the Daytona or the 1100 Sport, you know, all that, the V11 and all that sort of stuff that they come out with later on. I don't know. To me, the 1100 Sport Daytona of the late 90s was their last, well, I guess you could even maybe say superbike. Certainly the Daytona. I'd love them to come out with another one, especially with this new engine, right? Be really cool. But yeah, really, Guzzi certainly has not sold their soul. And you know, if you're a hardcore die in the wall hardcore Guzzi guy, you would have been pretty happy with what they produced with the Mandello. My mate's one of the guys that went with us down to the Burt. He's got one. Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, he loves it. He's a Guzzi guy anyway. So, but certainly. Yeah, 2 Yamahas for the one. Excuse me. One did the old Ducati. Yeah. That's true. Well, there'll always be some guys that buy them, but I suppose they will never get mainstream, you know. But again, you buy one and you park it up in your garage if you can afford it, and imagine what it'd be worth in 20 years' time. Yet to take a Mandello for a ride, Q, you talking about? I agree with the ones since then, like, you know, even the V11 Sport, and they come out with some sort of Le Mans-y looking thing. They all look very similar to me. Yeah, it's true. I was talking to a mate the other day. He was all mad because everybody's buying multi-stratas. He's like, oh, you know, that's not what Ducati's all about and all that. I suppose he's true to a certain extent, but you know. But then he doesn't like two valves. He's generation after us, he's more interested in the, 916 and 998s and all that, and of course I'm more interested in this era. Depends on what area you're brought up in, right? Yeah, well, that's something to be said about that. Old Ducati, they're only coming out with 2 or 3 models, and pretty much all the same, aren't they? They've got their Panigale, then they have the Super Sport, which is kind of very similar, except for the engine, of course, but it looks very similar. And then you sort of monstery, Street Fighter type stuff. They're smart in that they're using the same motor, just changing, basically changing what they look like. But yeah, there's something to be said about not making yourself too exclusive. But then if they made 50,000 bikes last year, they probably think, well, we're on the right formula, Yeah, hard to say. All right, team, I guess we'll shut it down. Been good talking to everybody. Nobody's saying they want to come on the stream next month. No volunteers. I got a bit of a surprise actually coming up. I can't, I don't want to say too much at the moment, but yeah, probably April. April stream, I'll give you a bit of a be a bit of a surprise for everybody in April. So, all right, you guys. Thanks for dropping in. Hope, Steve, I hope you had a beer Friday night. 8 o'clock for you. You'll be cracking number 4 or 5 by now, I'm sure. Yeah, all right, Q. You have a good weekend. I think the weather's looking all right for us. And Steve, you know the drill, mate. Come over here. Work something out. All right. Ride safe, everybody. Catch up next month, if not before. Q, I'll be looking out for your next videos, of course. Steve, still waiting for you to open up your YouTube channel and put some stuff on so we can have a look at those beautiful bikes of yours. All right, catch us later. Ride safe.